what would be the thought that leads to the path of least resistance to follow our dreams and go into the dream where we feel more free emotionally, spiritually, and financially? How can we get over the wall of the fear of the unknown to do so? Now, we want you, since you have the opportunity to listen back after the fact to these questions, we want you to go back and listen to these questions again. We're going to repeat it a little bit for you. But we want you to feel the vibrational content of this question so that you can understand a little bit why you, if you are the one who asked it, or you, if you are the one who's listening in and are undoubtedly doing some of the same thing, we want you to understand what it is that's wonky about your perspective here. Because your perspective is everything. It's your point of attraction. So how can we get over the wall of fear? All right, now, what does that sound like to you? It's a wall of fear. A wall meaning hard to get over or through or around. It's a barricade or a blockage. It's a wall. So just that word, that perspective, that practice perspective, you're right in the middle of questions of wanting to release resistance. And it's fine because it's the way it always goes. And you can't find words that aren't resistant. In fact, the word that you found is a really clear indicator that it does feel like a big wall. Hard to get over, around, through. Over the wall of the fear of the unknown. Now there's another blockbuster word, really a telling word, the unknown. The unknown. So we want to remind you that while the how and the where and the when and the who, that is unknown right now on many things. But the why isn't unknown. And that's what we want to get to in these questions. So what is what? We're going to ask you why. Why do you call it a wall? Because it feels big. Why does it feel big? Because I haven't figured out the answer, and because I've run across it so many times, and in my past experiences, it's been difficult. Why does it keep coming up? I don't know, Abraham, that's my wall. Why does it keep coming up? Think about what you know about the practicing of thought and momentum. So let's start again. It's a wall. Why is it? Why are you calling it a wall? Because it feels permanent. You didn't call it a strong wind. You didn't call it a pothole. Call it a wall. It feels hard to get through. Why is that? Because I've run across it so often and walked away from it or turned around from it. Let it deter me in another direction rather than figuring out how transparent it is and how air-like in quality it is and how traversable it is, how navigatable it is. Why does the wall feel so big? I practiced it into feeling so big. Why does it feel unknown? Because I've been asking the wrong question. I've been saying, how can I get through this wall now? Rather than, will this wall ever be gone? Or will this wall disappear? Or is this wall really a wall? Or did someone else build this wall? Or did I? See what we mean about getting underneath these questions? Not to the bottom of the question, so to speak, but to the bottom of the emotion. Because you've heard us say on many occasions, some of you are disagreeing with us right now this minute, when we've said there's no bottom. So Abraham, why would you be talking about getting underneath it? Because it's not the underneath the subject. That will just lead you to another and another and another. We demonstrated that a little bit here. But if you can get beneath it, beneath the emotion, why does this wall feel so daunting, so hard? The emotion is that. Difficult. Then we want to show you how you can soften the feeling of difficulty by talking to yourself, by talking the emotion into a softer place. We want you to get underneath the emotion and find one that feels softer. Why does this wall? How can I get over this wall? How can this feel easier? How can this feel easier than the unknown? Oh, unknown. Unknown because it's new. 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 New is unknown. It's also kind of fun. It's often an adventure. See what we're talking about? You're softening those words. Let's go back to those other words. Deeply buried in the norms. Feel the emotion of that. Buried, hard, impossible. Buried where I can't really see it. What's an emotion that's softer than that? Softer than deeply buried. Not evident to me right now. Not apparent, like the plant that's going to grow. Dogma. Dogma sounds heavy and hard, doesn't it? What's the emotion of dogma? Unchanging, ridiculing, loss of freedom. What else could dogma mean? What feels softer in that word? Rituals, parties, fun times together, things we like to do. See what we're getting at? Soften the emotional content. Soften your point of attraction. What would be the thought that leads to the path of least resistance? There's not one thought. You have to feel around for any thought. Depending on where you are, it feels just a little softer. Esther called it talking herself off the ledge until she realized that too was sort of a picture that she didn't want to encourage. You know, you're getting the hang of this already.